Okay, this is homework for Tuesday the 19th. This is for students who receive the graphing practice homework sheet where you need to graph points and graph a table. So number one gives you 6 points and you are graphing them. So if you got this homework, that means that Miss Stefan and I have seen that you need help with your graphing skills. So it means we've either seen you make mistakes or we've corrected your mistakes on your paper. So that is why you have this homework. So, graphing 101. On a coordinate point, which is what I gave you, these are coordinate points, 0, 5, -4, 3. Those are always set up as x, y. So the first number is x, next number is y. Now on our graph, we always have x and y. So that means the first number is going left and right. It's our run, left and right, left or right. And the second number, you're going up or down. Okay, if it's a positive x number, the first number is positive, that means I'm going to the right, to my positive numbers. If the x number, the first number, is negative, means I'm going to the left. Now if the y number, the second number, is positive, that means I go up. And if the second number or the y number is negative, that means I go down. So let's do 0, 5. I hope you've already done the homework and you're just here correcting it and learning something new. 0, 5 means I go over 0 on the x-axis, so I don't go anywhere, but I go up 5 on the y. So here's my point. I should make that bigger. Okay, next one, and it tells you to label it. So I'm going to label that 0, 5. Okay, my next one is -4. So on the x, -4, +3, up 3. And label it. -4, 3. Okay, my next one is +6 on the x, over 6, and -6, down 6. So here, and label it. 6, -6. Okay, D is 2, 7, so +2, +7. Label it, 2, 7. Next one is -3 on the x, -5 on the y, so going down. And label. And next one is +1, -1. So on your paper, make sure you had each of these in the correct space and labeled correctly. If not, correct it, and hopefully in a different colored pen would be helpful. Okay, number 2 asked you to graph. So I gave you a table just like you've had in last week's homework where you had to graph a table. And then you have to set up your graph. So here's how I set mine up. I looked at my hours and see what they were counting by. And this is my x. So I know I'm labeling my x-axis. Hours. It's counting by a constant rate of 2. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Which tells me I can label my x-axis that way because it's going by a constant rate. I decided to skip lines. So 0, skip a line 2, skip a line 4. Some of you might have just done 0, 2, 4, 6. That's fine. Now my y-axis, I did this on purpose. I made it so it didn't count by a constant rate. This is 9, but then it starts going up by 18 each time. And I can't start my graph by counting from 0 to 9 and then start skipping 18 every time. You can't always use these numbers on your graph. That doesn't always work. Okay, you have to find a constant rate. So I chose to count by nines. 9, 18, 27, 36, and so forth. So now I get to, hold on, I need to label my table, which I think I just realized is labeled incorrectly on your homework. Yep, it's supposed to be money according to the directions, so let me change that. Money. Okay, now I'm going to graph. So at 0 hours, make $9. 2 hours, I make 27. 4 hours, I make 45. 6 hours, 63. 8 hours, 81. 10 hours, 99. And then I can connect them with a line. And I have my graph. Now to get full credit on graphs, when we take a test, you need to have, you're going to get graded on whether your axes are labeled correctly, hours and money, whether they're going up by a constant rate and numbered correctly, whether you put the dots in the correct place and connected it with a line. Okay, I'm going to show you some common errors we see with graphing, and you're going to listen to these, and then at the end I have a question for you for your secret message. So one common error I see in class is that people don't start 0, 0 here. They always label the first line. That is not correct. 0, 0 is at this corner. It's the 0 on the X and the 0 on the Y. Okay, another common error is the skipping of lines. A lot of you decide that you want to skip lines, but you forget to skip one in the beginning. So you'll go 0, 2, and then skip lines. That's not correct. You need to skip lines from the beginning. So go skip 2, skip 4, skip 6, and so on. Okay, another common error is that you guys are reversing the X and the Y. Always in a table, the first one is the X, the second one is the Y. Always on a graph, this is the X axis, this is the Y axis. I think of it as like Y are longer numbers, they go up and down, they're long, so that's the Y, it's going up and down. Okay, so it's a very common problem we're seeing. Another one is you're not counting by a constant rate. The most common is that you guys are just taking the numbers from the table and putting those on your graph. But as you can see here, that means from 0 to 9 I was counting by 9, but then all of a sudden it was counting by 18. So that's not a constant rate. So you would not get credit for that. Okay, so what common error do you think you make when you're graphing? And I want you to write your answer on your paper. And that is it for tonight's homework. See you tomorrow.